All right, let's go. So day 7, I'll keep this one short just because I do have a client call very soon. But there are some things that I've changed in the ad account. And honestly, I'm moving very fast here. But don't forget that ads, especially on Meta, give you a feedback loop very, very fast, meaning that you can understand fairly quickly if something works or if it doesn't. And there are multiple things that you can look at. That's why there's such a huge opportunity with Meta ads in most cases, because there are so many variables and you actually have to spend time. And usually the persons who spend the most time and attention on it after gaining also experience, they will win eventually, right? And it's basically just my confidence speaking right now, because I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And there's a lot that you don't know, especially if you're not spending enough. For example, right now the spend on my campaigns is around 40 to $50, right? But if I would have like a $1 million agency, I could probably spend 4K, 5K, so 100 times more, right? And that's where you get scale. First, you need to find something that works, and then you just add one more zero, which is not that hard. But let's talk about the leads that I'm seeing, because yesterday on Monday, today is Tuesday, there were around 4 leads, and all of them, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, are lower quality. They are coming at around $11 per lead, which is low. And don't forget one thing, that these leads, these people who are filling in the form, they do show some interest. They do know about Shopify, right? But they don't have a successful Shopify store. So they are not my ideal customer right now, because they would need to have, let's say, 30K in spend already, or maybe 10K in spend to actually qualify. Because otherwise there's no point in actually working with someone who charges you 3K plus, right? So that's why maybe I need to have some kind of lower ticket offer in the future, because at one point you can actually start coaching other people, right? Just like I have also a mentor, someone who I've paid. And basically, the more you pay, the more you care, the more you actually think of yourself as an investment. Because the more you invest in yourself, usually the more serious you'll take yourself after all. Because if you know that you've spent 3K on something, for like a course, then like 6K for a mentorship program, then 20K for an event, maybe another 10K for, let's say, a community, something like that, right? So it just adds up. And when you know that you've spent around 50K in yourself, besides the fact that it actually helps you with your confidence, you also probably have been around enough people to see that making money is not even about like being special in any way. It's just about like having that belief, and you actually build it by being around other people who are also doing big numbers, right? That's why sometimes it's ideal to be in rooms where you're the smallest fish. I've done that several times, and yeah, not getting very comfortable, because it's easy, especially if you live like myself in Eastern Europe. It's very easy to get comfortable and then not even grow anymore. So, leaving all of that aside, let's look in the ad account. Let me switch the camera and let me show you what's happening with ads, what I've changed, and how I'm actually targeting a much higher audience. And the CPMs are going crazy high right now. It's 150 plus last time I checked, but it does make sense. So let's switch the camera. All right, so we are in the ad account, and let's look at yesterday. As you can see, yesterday we actually had 4 leads. Let me zoom in here just so you can see better. So as you can see, the leads came from this instant form. So it made it easier for people to just submit their info. So if you are looking for leads, it's definitely easier with instant forms. Less steps. And this was the ad. I've shown it yesterday, nothing new, but I've made two changes here. So basically trying to find my ideal customers. And what I did here is, first of all, if I edit this, it's still an instant form, but it's a lookalike. And as you can see, the reach is very low because I actually uploaded a list of emails, and as you can see, it's a lookalike, and it's actually just from US brands that are running ads in eCom. So very, very specific. And if we actually look at performance and clicks, if we go here, you'll see that today the CPMs are very high, right? 194. Because it is a more targeted audience. So it will be costlier to actually get to them, but I'm willing to test. And then the second one is actually in the 25 to 55 age group. And why is that? Well, I've actually seen that if I put 18, a lot of the data, and you can actually go here, view charts, and it will show you the data. So all the results came from people from younger people who are in the 18 to 24 age group. As we can see, there's one male, and that's all that we have. That's all the data that Meta has. So yeah, it's skewed, as you can see, towards a younger audience. And the truth is that this audience is less likely to be in the position to have a Shopify store that's making enough money in order to actually work with an agency. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's less likely. So what I'm basically doing with this ad set is having some guardrails here in order to actually target that audience. And as you can see, it's also a very high CPM, right? But this is what you have to pay for, let's say, a premium audience. But with all of that being said, let's switch the camera back. All right, so we're back. And as you've seen, there is something new happening each and every day, because you do get data, and based on that data, you can take decisions. Usually, especially for, let's say, bigger budgets, such as in eCom, where you are spending maybe 1K a day on testing ads, then there you actually need to give it more time. But here, it's not about testing the ads as much as testing the audience. And that's because, for example, when you are testing an ecom product, you should have a very big audience, right? You don't want to sell to just a few people. You actually want to have a very big market, like a total addressable market that's, let's say, significant enough that you could actually sell your product to thousands, tens of thousands, maybe millions of people, right? But here, when it comes to Shopify store owners that are spending already 30K or more on Facebook ads, there are not as many. So this is why it's not even so much about the creative. And why am I saying that? Because I mean, the creative doesn't suck. That's the first most important thing. And second, another thing is that they'll see my face. And that's also very important, because you also need to have the presence, right? I mean, yeah, I have LinkedIn here. It's a platform that I'm using, just like Instagram. You can message me there if you want. And also all the other platforms like X and so on, because you do need to be out there, right? You need to make it easy for people to see you, to find you, to know your expertise. And then if you have the right expertise for the right business, the right people, then you can actually help them. But it definitely starts with content, especially nowadays, unless you want to DM people cold, which is also something that you can do. Or, as you can see here, actually running ads. And personally, I'm doing all of them because you never know what works. And if you try all of them, it's just like with investing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, there are different ways to think about this, meaning that, yeah, you should focus on just one thing and that's where you'll make your money and so on. But at the same time, if you can make smaller bets to find out what works and then go all in that thing, then that's also an approach that you can have, right? So there's no perfect formula. But if you try enough things, it's impossible for you to fail. So I would say that's about it. We're at 11 minutes here. Let me see in terms of timing. I still have 10 minutes before the call. So that's it for today. And basically, see you tomorrow.